This is how our client Steven from We Launch Marketing is averaging 3 qualified sales calls a week and closing nearly 40% of cold prospects. Now I have the full case study in the video description, but let's get into the interview.
All right, Steven. Thanks for hopping on. Steven's from We Launch Marketing. And, I'd love to have you walk us through what sort of pain points or what you guys were struggling with BD wise and outbound wise before working with Beanstalk Consulting.
Sure. Yeah, so I think the biggest struggle for us was even getting to jump on calls in the first place. We kind of had our own outreach funnel and we sent out a ton of emails, ton of outreaches, never really got responses. It was very sparse. We were maybe getting only a few calls at most of the month. And we were just looking for someone that could just help us drive a lot more leads and just help us save time in that process too. And yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's definitely a common pain point we're seeing with customers that jump on. Could you maybe walk us through what it's been like since you started Beanstalk Consulting? What sort of change have you seen from meeting set or at bats? And then, walk us through maybe a little bit of how that sales process works for you from those upfront calls, out to hopefully a new client, great outcome.
Yeah, so definitely we've seen a huge uptick in terms of number of just calls that we're jumping on, not only in terms of the number of calls and leads that we're actually able to talk to, just the fact that the time savings from instead of us having to manage the funnel, we kind of just check, oh, hey, cool, a new meeting has been booked. And then from there, we have to jump on the call, and we're pretty confident in terms of just pitching the client and converting them. So for the most part, like the fact that they're driving us so many more leads, on average, probably previously it was maybe only a few leads a month. Now we're getting potentially 2 to 3, even more calls a week. And so it's just night and day in terms of the difference. And in terms of these, our average contract size ends up being somewhere between 3 to 5K. And so in that sense, we're signing on probably maybe 30 to 40% of these people. So definitely overall huge change in just the whole process from the actual performance ROI, along with the fact that time saving so that we can actually focus on doing our actual work, which is helping our clients drive revenue instead of having to focus so much time in terms of trying to drive new leads for us.
That's great. That's great to hear. Shifting gears a bit, what's it been like to work with this team? Easy, hard communication? Just would love to get your thoughts there.
Sure, yeah, it's been super easy. Integrated Slack channel, so anytime I have a question or if something happens, just ping them and they're pretty fast to respond. So yeah, overall it's been just a pretty good and pretty smooth experience, especially with the integrated Slack channel.
Great to hear. And as far as getting started, right, that onboarding experience, I know it's been a while now. You've been with us for quite a bit, but rewinding the clock, what was it like to get going? Lift wise, was it easy? Any feedback for us on ways we could make it better, or was it a pretty smooth process throughout?
Yeah, I would say overall it's a pretty smooth process. The only feedback I have is you guys initially sent over like a pretty long questionnaire, which it was long, but I think it makes sense because you want everybody to understand our brand and who we are. It did take a little bit of a lift to get that thing filled up, but that was probably the biggest lift in the whole thing since working with you. Because after that, basically everything was handled. So for the most part, aside from that long questionnaire, which I think is necessary, like working with you guys and getting started was super fast, and pretty much you guys handled a lot of the onboarding process except for the funnels and everything. So overall, pretty great experience getting started with you guys.
Well, that's great. Yeah, we probably should take a look at whether that 50 some odd questions might be a bit much. So maybe I'll work on trimming that down a bit. But to your point, it really does help with getting context on a client's business, understanding who they want to target, how they want us to be speaking to those folks, and then our team can do what they do and turn that into email copy. So thanks a lot, Steven, and looking forward to chatting again soon.
Of course.